Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSI DFS Fantasy NASCAR Picks. I'm host Megawar31. Speculation video for the truck um, race at Kansas on Friday night. It's going to be practice at like 3:30, qualifying at 4. So it takes about an hour, so we should have lineups around 5, but it is an impound race, so we have to recheck the trucks, make sure there was any cheating going on. So it might be 5:30, 6 o'clock, 2.5 to 2 hours to build your lineup for races at like 8:30 if they don't move it back if things took a little bit longer. So that's what we got. So unfortunately, this and Xfinity are going to be speculation videos, but they did race here in the spring. So if you look at the U column there, that's where they finished, or where the truck finished, because a lot of the drivers towards the bottom weren't in this race. The other thing that we need to notice, there's only 34 drivers in this race. And so everybody's going to make it, but sometimes you have 36 or 38. So Jennifer Joe Cobb, no matter what she does, if she gets in the truck and goes one lap around, she's going to get 7 DK points. Same thing with, whoever starts 33rd. I'm just predicting that just from experience, like where these drivers might start. They're not going to, they have some floor there. But, like, if somebody starts at the back, you're gonna lose, like, 4 to 5 place differential points, where if they were starting in a race that had, like, 38, it'd be a little bit better. So if somebody, screws up qualifying or gets disqualified, has to start in the back, and that's where they're going to be, um, scored from, then they're just going to really, they'll be okay, but they're not going to have as much place differential potential. So it he can pass a little bit here. Corey Heim pretty much dominated the race. Majeski was had Heim at the pole, I believe, if I recall. Let's see here. No, Heim started 13th, so he made it to the pole. Uh, Chase Purdy had the pole. So he ended up finishing like 28th. So but I think Majeski, I can't remember if he had damage or not, but I know Majeski blew like a left front tire and racked on like lap 3. But then the whole race went to green until the end of stage 1, and then green until the edge of stage 2, and then it was a long green flag run to the end of the race. So you only had 14 trucks finish on the lead lap, and then 21, so 7 other trucks were 1 lap down, and then there were a lot that were like 2 laps down to 26, 3 laps down to 30th. So it's not like a short track where they get lapped right away, but they do definitely have the potential to be lapped here if it is a long green flag run. So it is the last cutoff race before the playoffs. So you have Heim, Eckes, Sanchez, and Majeski, who are an excellent mathematical shot to make it. You had Lane Riggs, I believe, win back to back, which has just been incredible. And so you didn't have anybody that was able to steal the um, a place for like a playoff spot to lock in to the next round. So you just have to go on points here. And if any of these guys win, they're definitely going to that are in the playoffs there have the colors there in the DK name. They'll definitely advance. Raja Kroof should be. I mean, he really needs something to go like horribly wrong. I think he's about like 35 points up. Ankrum and Gray should be comfortable, but if they wreck early and one of these other guys like wins the race or like just ups there and dominates, then one of them potentially could fall out and die. Enfinger and Rhodes are right there around the cut line, about 20 points apart, that are really in danger of not making the next round. So how do they play it? I think the guys in the red are going to be aggressive. The ones in the yellow and maybe in the orange, I fear might go for like stage points over um, track position just to try to point their way in and to stay safe. It all depends on how the rest of the field is doing with the playoff drivers. And I think the green drivers, it's going to be an average race out there. They're going to go and try to get stage points if they can, but go for the win if they can also. So, like I said, Heim started and didn't qualify in the last, but he did end up winning the race and actually pretty much getting up there pretty early and dominating. So started 13th. He led 100, or he led 134 laps, and there are 134 laps in this one. So he led 79 laps. Zane Smith, who's not in the field, led 29. But the 91 truck is in the field and it's driven by pretty decent driver. So I think that's something to look at when we get to it. So I think, is definitely a dominator. Roger Cruth, my model, likes to maybe get the pole or at least qualify up in the top 10. He qualified fourth last time, finished 13th on the lead lap. So nothing too spectacular there, but I think he has to be an upside dominator. Krishnakis has just been so strong this season. He led 11 laps, started 10th, finished third. So I think that he's one that could also be a potential dominator here. Nick Sanchez usually qualifies pretty well. He always has the upside to potentially lead. He started 31st, had some problems in qualifying, I believe. So he had to really get up through the field, but had a good truck. They got things figured out and ended up finishing third, which was an awesome place differential play there. Daniel Dye, you always seem like qualify up here, and you're like, oh, he's never going to be able to hold it. He actually finished ninth in the spring after starting sixth. I mean, that's close. I think he's a good one to put in your 20K lap. I know it's like I didn't look at the prize pool, it's probably only 10K because with the football stuff, like DK doesn't care about NASCAR anymore. So whether the top GPP is like 5K or 10K, that's when the 20K, that's what I'm talking about. So whatever that GPP is, if you want a leverage play, Daniel Dye's gonna be the first one. Purdy, Gray, and Garcia. I think like again, Purdy had the pole and finished 28th. I'm gonna kind of write that off because he's had a decent season, so he should be okay. Tanner Gray and Garcia, same thing. Like Gray finishing seventh, starting seventh. I think I like the best out of the bunch here, but you have to see where they place. All of them have upside. It's all going to depend on how much place differential they have and how they look in practice and qualifying. Crafton is usually pretty strong. He protects pretty well here. Start ninth. He finished 10th here in the spring time. Started 14th, so in the spring. So I think that he's one that I definitely could consider as a cash play. I like the price range. Sometimes you end up in no man's land, especially if you're trying to get like Eckes and Heim and Majeski all in the same lineup. So you're probably not going to get to Crafton, but he's there. Brendan Queen is in the one truck. Brett Moffitt drove this truck. He started 19th. He finished fifth. I know Brett Moffitt is a decent legacy driver that's been in the truck series for a while. And did he win a championship? I think he did. But he's just been solid. And, so hopped in and did well. But Queen has been pretty solid too. Let's see season average. If he hate you can't hit back on racing reference or it just crashes on you. Catherine truck season queen. So he's started two races and his average finish is 11.5. So that's why I have him as a 20K driver. I think people look over him, but he's in this number one Tricon truck, which is one of the between that and seven are pretty much the all-star trucks in here that people just rotate into and usually do well. This truck finished fifth with Moffitt there. I think Queen definitely can hop in there and have a solid day. So keep him in mind when you're building your lineup and in your player pool, especially if you're trying to play a GPP. If it doesn't look like he's going to be a massive chalk play, then I think he's one that you can consider to be sneaky because I think he'll have a good day. And he's not racing for anything except for trophies. Ankrum and Gray, I'm going to talk about together here. I think they're both like GPPs. They're $100 a piece apart. Obviously, Gray has the projection here, but I think they're pretty much kind of the same play. if you look at it, you have them fighting for their playoff lives here. And again, I think they're going to prioritize stage points. Both of them finished in the 20s last time. So I don't see a lot of upside with the two of them. If one of them, for some reason, starts way, way down, it looks like they got some place to differential, then yeah, maybe there'll be more of a cash or prime play. But at this point, I think they're GPP. Enfinger has a lot to um, do to make things up here. So I think he's going to be a prime play. I think he's going to be aggressive. Finished 12th here. My model has him starting 12th. Where did he start? Started 16th, so he had a little bit of a place differential, but I think he's one that wants to continue on and advance to the playoffs, and they'll throw everything at it to do. So I really like that. So just with his history of the track and everything, I'm going to list him as a prime play. Dean Thompson, same thing here. Finished eighth. In the spring race after starting 22nd. He did really well, like carving his way through the field. He's had a solid season too. I think he almost made the playoffs, or did he get to eliminate after one round? I can't remember. It seems like it's eternity ago, even though it's only been a couple races. Just such a large gap in like races with the truck series. Um, but anyways, a solid season, a Tricon truck, a good team and everything behind him. So I like the upside here. So he'll be a potential prime play too. Lane Riggs, probably should put the prime tag on him. Also, have to see how he practices and qualify. He didn't do well here in the spring race. Finished 18th. After starting a little bit before then. Uh, the 1.5 miles I haven't loved him on, but just in his recent form, winning the last two races, seems like he's dialed in. So you know, that could be a thing here. So he might end up being a prime play if one of these other guys that doesn't like if Enfinger's like going to start like second or something, he's definitely not going to be a prime play. I'd probably move it down to Rig. So if Enfinger starts anywhere like in the high top 10, then I'll just put the prime tag on Riggs. Majeski is a cash play. I think another solid play. He could end up being like a dominator, an upside dominator if he's starts up higher. My model doesn't have him qualifying that well. And I think people are going to look back and I think this is a perfect reason to play him in cash is because they're going to look at the spring race of their box score watching and see the flat tire and see he finished 33rd dead last. And after starting second and be like, no way, he's too volatile to play in cash, but that could be a mistake. Connor Mozak, like I said, the Spire truck did really well here. I think he finished, no, actually, the Spire truck with Mozak in it, started fifth and finished 30th, but I think he got caught up in that wreck early on with when Majeski blew his tire on like lap three and had some damage on it. But this fire truck's been solid. I think it's the same thing as Majeski. I think both these guys my model has starting in like 16th and 17th and might even start further on up but I think they're solid cash plays because I think people are going to look at their finish in the spring race and say, no way, I'm not going to play them. But again, I think that might be a mistake. Friesen's always a GPP play, no matter where he starts, even in the back. He just hasn't had a good season. There's really not that much upside. Corey Day is going to be my other prime play here in the 91. Like I said, this is the truck that finished second with Zane Smith in it. It's a great team. It's a great truck and the guys that have driven the 91 have been pretty successful recently. I think it was in the 91 last week. It was, thought it raced. Oh, it's Jack Wood. No, that one didn't move. It started 20. Yeah, that one underachieved. So I won't go by that. But Corey Day is definitely a driver that I trust and like the price tag is 6,900. So if he starts around 20th here in this truck and look good in practice, then I think he's definitely one I consider as a prime play. Sutton, I think, is going to be another sleeper here. The Rackley truck does not have Ty Dillon in it. I think he's moving on to other things next year, so they moved on from him. They're going to give Dawson Sutton a chance. Dawson has not done bad in his few limited starts in the truck series. He in two starts, like his finish is 23rd. So if this Rackley truck is pretty, it has had some breakdowns and stuff, but I think the team's like they try and sometimes overachieve a little bit. I don't think he's going to win the race, but I think if he starts like 25th, he could finish in like anywhere from maybe 17th to 20th. That's enough place differential at 6,500 to be a solid play. So I think he'll be sneaky again in the 20K contest. Rhodes fighting for his life will be a little bit aggressive. Same thing as Enfinger. I like Enfinger a little bit better than Rhodes in this case, just because I think how he's done on mile and a half this season, it's definitely and Rhodes is definitely way at the bottom. Like he's negative 100 points out of first place. M Fingers 88. So uh, right there, there's at least 12 points to safety to get into the top eight. So he's got a lot of work to do here. So I like him in cash because I think he's going to be aggressive and I think that's going to help pay off. I don't know if he's going to make it to the next round, but he's going to really try. Curry's been solid all season in this Nice truck. If he starts 20th on back, I think he's a cash play. Timmy Hill's always GPP and solid fill in for you. Caden Honeycutt, he started way back in the field and ended up finishing fourth. So started 23rd, finished fourth. So keep your eye on him in cash because he's run pretty well here and he's run well all season, just kind of quietly and had a lot of floor and has been in a lot of successful cash lineups for me. So make sure that you keep an eye on him. Brent Holmes on the other side here too, like right around there. A lot cheaper though. I think he's a cash play that this single truck team has been he kind of reminds me of Jeremy Clements in Xfinity. It's a cell phone team and they go out there and they're sometimes you see them up in the top 10 and stuff, but it just seems like they just have solid results like every single week. Not enough to make it into like the playoffs, but they're not going to blow you away, but they're not going to lose you either. And 5,800 is a great price tag. Connor Daly, he's struggled in this truck. I don't really, not a huge fan of the Nice 44 usually, so it's going to be a fade for me. Loveless Allen, Andretti, Mills, Boyd, I think you can play them all in GPP. All depends on where they start. They got to start 25th on back. Or you consider if they start too far forward, I'm not going there. Munoz comes over from Arca and Xfinity. He's really had a couple races there, a couple in the trucks. Nothing really stands out. He'll probably finish 30th to 34th. Um, Mason Bird, not a lot of upside there either. Uh, Model has him at almost 3x, so I think he can do better than Munoz, Mondek, and Jennifer Joe Cobb. But I don't think he's going to get top place differential. But I left him in the GPP pool. And Mondek in this Young's Motorsports has the 46 has been terrible, and he hasn't been a good driver. And Jennifer Joe Cobb, if she can stay on the lead lap, it would be an absolute miracle. Uh, she finished 32nd out of 34, and if there wasn't the wreck, she probably would have finished dead last. So not so much upside there. So I got for you from a question put in chat below who made my Rower 31 on X or Twitter. If you want to get in and get the official plays once the practice and qualifying are over, then go to the description of the video pricing page for us. It's $5 for the weekend. We'll get you all three races. And if you want to play for like the whole day and get all the sports, which will get you like soccer, WNBA, NHL preseason, Major League Baseball, um, soccer, if there is, pretty much everything that's going on in this Xfinity race. Then all you have to do is pay $6, which is a pretty good deal for the day, and it gets you 24 hours access. So if these videos help us back, like, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends. So thanks for watching. I'm Meguro31. Hope you have a good start to your weekend in this race. And I should probably get the next two out for Xfinity and Cup, and I'll have NFL preview for week 4. So stay tuned to the channel for those things. So thanks for watching. Have a good night, and I'll see you next.